I'm still feeling very bonita, as I said in the last episode, which was filmed about 7 seconds before this film started. So, okay. All right, quick recap. We've got the flood. The flood happens. It's not a pretty little thing with like giraffes sticking their heads out the windows and, Noah's family just standing on the ark peacefully with a rainbow behind it. Like, it is violent and it is tumultuous. It is this giant reset button. Okay, cool. So Noah's family is the only ones left on the planet. And he gives them this simple commandment of go out, fill out the earth, spread out, and create beauty and care for it again. Like, just tend to the earth the way that I tend to the earth the way I intended you to. So generations. Nobody is spreading out though. Everybody is staying exactly where they were, and they decide that instead of building outwards, that they're going to build upwards. They're basically like, actually, what if we stay together? What if we build this giant city? And what if we build a tower so tall that it touches the heavens? So this was not them trying to get closer to God. This was them trying to say that they could do things without God. They weren't building a staircase to say hi. No, they were building this giant tower that says, we don't need you. You don't have any control over what we're doing. We make our own greatness. We decide what we want for the world. We control the world ourselves. They're building this tower brick by brick, basically bragging about how great they are without God. And God looks down and says, well, this isn't good, because if I let them continue with this, like, they're just going to wreck themselves again and again and again. They're too prideful. So he decides to confuse their language. And I just think it's so funny. Like, they're building this tower and somebody goes like, hey, can you hand me that hammer? And another guy just looks at him. I was like, what? Okay. Okay. So the project obviously would fall apart, right? Like, they can't continue this if they can't communicate. So they separate. The different languages all separate, and thus we have the nations of the world that we have today. It's kind of gentle, like, considering the flood, considering this curse, kicking Adam and Eve out of the garden, like these harsher things, just like confusing them and moving them out to spread them out across the earth just seems very gentle. God wanted humanity to spread out so that we could have the experience of life and culture, beauty, creativity from all over the world, because every part of the earth is so different, right? So, but human was filled with pride and trying to build upwards. What destroys community? It's pride. I mean, and the need for power, but ultimately that's pride too, right? So that's what's destroying communities. What heals it? Humility. And so Babel and the Tower of Babel and God scrambling their languages and confusing them made them humble, because they just kind of had to start all over again. Okay, so more generations have passed, hundreds and hundreds of generations have passed, and we get to Abram. Abram is called out by God. God went to Abram. Like, he was not in some special mountain. He was not in a special place trying to connect to God. God came to Abram and said, I will bless you. All the nations through you will be blessed. But we see that as knowing that God had the entire plan of redemption coming all through Abram's line. So Abram matters, right? Like, his entire line is going to produce Jesus eventually. The redemption of the world is going to come through Abram's line. But the part that no one talks about is that Sarai, she really was an intricate part of it. It was not just about Abram, but no, it was about Sarai too. It was her body, her womb, her life that mattered too. If Sarai doesn't survive, then the promise collapses. Okay, so famine hits and Abram panics. They head into Egypt and he says, hey, wife, who, fun fact, is actually his half-sister, I think. I'm pretty sure. But he says, hey, wife, you're beautiful, and if we go into Egypt, they're gonna kill me so that they can have you. So how about we just say that you're my sister? So it's only like a half a lie. And Sarai, with no better options, has to agree, right? So Pharaoh takes Sarai into his house, he takes her into his house because he's going to take her as a wife. Abram's being treated really well because if they have the brother's blessing, then they're going to get what they want from Sarai. So why not just pour out these blessings and treats and spoil Abram rotten, right? So he's getting livestock and servants are waiting on him, and Sarai's in a situation she never asked for. So the hero of the Bible, like people like to say the heroes of faith, it's Abram is not the hero here. It's God, because God sends and intervenes. He sends plagues to Pharaoh's house to intervene for Sarai so that she can leave, so that she is not taken advantage of. But God sent the plagues not because Abram apologized, not because Abram repented. God is intervening on behalf of the woman whose life carries his promise of Jesus. So she matters. I liked this too. So keep in mind that these plagues that are hitting Pharaoh, this is pre-Moses. Moses hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. I feel like it was like a little teaser as to what was going to happen in Exodus. Oh, hey, Pharaoh, here's just a little bit of plague. More is coming. So Pharaoh realizes something's up, right? He comes, he brings this woman into his house, and then all of a sudden these plagues and stuff starts happening. So he goes to Abram to confront him and is like, WTF, why didn't you just tell me she was yours? So he, out of fear, is just take her and go. And he gifts them things. He gives them, I think, livestock and riches and stuff just to get them to leave. Because he was scared. And so Sarai walks out unharmed. She is okay because of God, not because of Abram, not because of her stupid husband, but God knew that she needed saving. So Sarai wasn't just a side character. She was essential in the story of the lineage of Jesus. I think the reason that I love this one so much is because it just shows that the women that often seem overlooked, God is just as intricately involved in their lives too. Now I don't remember what the next episode is. Tower of Babel, Sarai. Hold on. Please hold. Ishmael, Isaac, the story of the Lord, land, and lineage thing. Also very interesting. So I'm going to get these 3 up and then probably do those next ones tomorrow or later in the week. Love you.